Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to, that's right, we have made it through another week. It is Friday. It is the press conference reaction show, the show that takes you from the weekend and delivers you safely, snugly and warmly into the weekend ahead. And it's another weekend of Ipswich Town action. And of course, we return home to Fortress Portman Road to take on Portsmouth in a game. I'm not saying it's a must win, but I've heard some others say that it is. For me, it's still September, albeit tomorrow is the 1st of October. I'm not quite there. I'd love to know how you think, how you feel. Is, of course, is your platform to have your say. Come on the platform if you want to. Have your say in the live chat, unfiltered in your own words. Really looking forward to hearing what you're going to say. But first of all, I have to do a sort of a public announcement that it is the 30th of September. So if you are people who need to read meters, read your meter and get it sent in. Otherwise, you could be paying more. Wait, you will be paying more from tomorrow on your energy bills. But there you go. Meter reading day, I think they're calling it. Josh Russell is a new YouTube member. Big up, Josh. We love you. We appreciate you. Colin Plum, good evening, everyone. Another winning run starts at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon against Cowley's Mob. Bring your loudest singing voices. Lee Bray also says the cruncher is back with sweary, laughy emoji, blue heart, go, thumbs up, 100%. Lee Brown, evening, everyone. Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, Lee. Hope you're well. Good evening. And Matt Stannard is here. Looking forward to getting back to the Portman Road, or he's been stood in the rain with the kids' football. Emerson, thank you for voting. By the way, we are obviously in the top 8 nationally for best EFL podcast. We need your votes, though. Please do head to social media, their website, the FCA website, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Give your vote, just how Emerson Fairweather did today for Talking Town. It's a tough gig to actually get an Ipswich Town podcast inside the top 3. Why? Well, there's 2 of us. Whereas if you look through the list, I don't think there's 2 of another club in that list. That shows the caliber of the content being created by everybody associated around the football club, but of course also, fragments the votes a little bit. So, neither of us really, I think, have much of a chance. But we'll ask you to vote anyway. Good AD Croucher. Good evening, everyone. Who remembers the game versus Pompey in 03 when their fans were singing top of the league with Harry and Jim? We don't want similar chants tomorrow. Of course, Checkbook FC, Salty FC. There's lots of little mini storylines brewing with this one. And you may want to take part in our free prediction league, week 12. Link in the chat. 5 fixtures. You predict them. You get points if you get the right ones. Matt Stannard is running it. He's doing a marvellous job, is our Matt. Absolutely marvellous. But he wants more people involved. So it's free to enter. Takes you 5 minutes. Job done. Right. I'm going to bring in one of my contributors in just a second. But before I do, I saw this on Twitter today, and I want to know what your first football video game was that you remember playing. So I will try and make that bigger for you. Make your own jokes there as you will. There it is. That should be. There you go. There will. That my game actually isn't there. My game was Premier Manager 1998, where the soundtrack was, "I want you to go through the season and not lose one match." Well, sadly, we did that on Sunday. But let's see what TJ's game was.
Big Fish. Tom Jane.
I think the squad of 24-25 that we've got are good enough to do something in this league.
The Big Fish returns. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
Good, man. I'm very well. Disappointed my own video game the first one I remember playing wasn't there. But what was the first video game you remembered playing?
So mine would have been Championship Manager 2000-2001 when we were in the Prem. Nice. And I had that obviously on PC because that's what it was back then. And I rinsed it, and I only last played it probably a year ago. I just regenerate it, start it up now and then, and I just really enjoy how simple it is to play. But
I like that. I played a game called Premier Manager or Football Manager. It wasn't what you've got at the moment that's out. That's very popular. And we were in the Premier League, but it had things like John Carew, world class with blistering pace, and just it. I didn't say it was accurate, did I? It was just a good game. Philip's got World Cup Italia 90 on the Masters system. FIFA 99 for John B. Do you know what? Once I looked at that graphic, I actually went to YouTube to find my first manager game. It's just like nostalgic hit with the theme tune coming on and all of that. But I said at the start, the theme tune was I want you to go through a season and not lose one match. Sadly, we'd lost a match. That's not going to happen. How are you feeling as we return back to Fortress Portman Road? Because Portsmouth's away record, incredibly good. Second best in the division. 3 wins out of 4. Our home record, 11th overall. Played 4, won 2, drawn 2. So how you feeling as we head into the weekend?
Yeah, I'm quite comfortable, really. We've played some of the bigger teams in this league and we still sit second in the table. So I'm quite comfortable with that. I don't think there's any need to overreact. We lost away to Plymouth. If we lost at home to Plymouth, I'd feel a bit different to it. But yeah, I thought Plymouth deserved to win that game overall. I thought first half we were better, but overall, I think they did a job on us in that second half. And we just didn't respond in the way that I would expect us to. So biggest challenge now is how do we react off the back of this setback and the Sheffield Wednesday game as well. We dropped a couple of points there. I'm really looking forward to seeing how we react and bounce back, and that will be the biggest test for this team so far.
Yeah, that's exactly what Rich said on the post-game show on Sunday. Neil Wilmore, Football Manager 64 was his. Neil is actually making his appearance on Talking Town in 8 days' time, 7 from tomorrow. So a week today, Neil, you'll be sat in the chair with me discussing the press conference reaction show. A new voice on Talking Town. We love to hear that, love to see it. EJ said Ridge Racer 91. I love seeing the games come through, but I love your thoughts there, TJ. Don't overreact. Keep it simple. One game. We've played the big boys, but we're still second. Well, let's complete the team and let's see what this man is.
The Cruncher, Richard Moss.
You're talking utter fucking.
Mr. Moss, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm stuffed. I've been out for Chinese.
How many courses did you have? Because that
we had prawn toast, spring rolls, and seaweed, crispy seaweed. Martin, you ever had it?
I've had it. Love it. Very salty. I often find about 2 a.m. I wake up with a lot of, dry mouth.
And then we had 7 courses, which was probably too many. And then I've got a load that I've brought home. So absolutely stuffed. 10 out of 10. Cinta in God Manchester. If you're ever over this way, call in there, Martin. You would absolutely love it.
Yeah, but how much did you spend?
96 quid. But we did have a bottle of wine as well, which was 20 quid. So it weren't too
Cost
bad.
of living's not at your house, is it, mate? Jesus.
Well, you got to eat, didn't you? You got to eat, didn't you?
Well, apparently you have. Yes, absolutely. I'm well on board with that one. 96. Hey, I'll pay that.
You need to rate my takeaway on the Discord.
I do. I've seen the picture.
Yeah,
I've seen I was quite flattered. You actually tagged me. Mike the Fisherman not won against the top 6 side. Crunch. I want to read you something here before I hand it. Sort of, ask you the question. You heard the records at the start of the show. There, Portsmouth second in the away guide, us 11th. Kieran McKenna said, "Of course, it was disappointing end result on Sunday." But we try and stay consistent and calm to our beliefs. We know going into the season that you're going to lose a good number of games. The team who go on to win the league will lose a good number of games. You know going into the season you're going to lose games. It's important in those moments to be consistent in your process and reflect on how the game went and very quickly move on. Very easy for professionals to say that, Rich. Not so easy for fans. You've heard it all this week.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It depends what camp you're in, isn't it, man? I was just writing down here. Wigan lost 8 games last year.
They did.
Rotherham lost 10. Right, and they were first and second. So, look, you're not going to win games. We're not Man City. We're not winning games every single week. If anybody thinks that we are, we're not. We're a League One team. You look at Sunday when George Edmondson made that mistake, Martin. It's players in League One are there for a reason. They make mistakes. Even Harry Maguire, he done that for England on Monday night against Germany. Maguire. So we just, as a fan base, I think sometimes we're a little bit overreactive when we lose a game. Because say we lose tomorrow, and we're at the statue 5-5, we won't be happy. We might calm down a little bit by Sunday because, like you say, it's the 24-hour period. It's like the game tomorrow, Martin. Some people are saying it's a must-win.
Is it must-win? Is it? Is it? Tell me.
Not for me. Look, I can see why people say that you need to win the game because it's a team who are in and around where you are at the minute. At the minute, we've only played 10 games. Who knows where Portsmouth will be at the end of the season? People are saying at the minute, well, we've lost. We haven't beaten a top 6 team, but they're including Bolton in that, who we played on the first day of the season.
Yeah.
And they're including Barnsley in that, Martin, who when we played them were like 16th. So they weren't top 6 teams then. Now, did we play terrible against Sheffield Wednesday and Plymouth? No, we didn't. You know, in both of them games, we were leading at 70 minutes. And we should have won at least one of them games. You know, I think we could probably all agree we probably should have won.
Should have, would have, could have. I should have been in there by now, but I'm not.
It's substitutions. We give away stupid free kicks at Sheffield Wednesday. But we didn't play terribly. We didn't play terribly. You know, we didn't play terribly. I'll probably agree with Tom there. It was Sunday. Plymouth probably just did edge it. I would say that was a game when it went to 1-1. I think if you're a little bit more streetwise, you'd probably say, right, we might not win this game, Martin, but we're not going to lose it. We're not going to give one of the teams who are in around us.
Yeah.
We've given them like 2 points on us, haven't we? So when they come to Portman Road, I think it's February, March, we played Plymouth, you've got to beat them then because you've got to make them points up that you've lost when you play them. So is it a must-win game tomorrow? No, it's not. It's still 108 points to play for, but you don't want to lose, you know. But look, I'm not going into a game tomorrow saying I don't want to win the game because I do. We all want to win the game, but I just think sometimes we just need to just calm down. Like Tom said earlier, you know, we've lost one game in 10 here. We're sitting second in the league. Possibly we could have won. We've had chances, Martin, to win all 10 games, and we didn't. And we're not going to win 10 games on the bounce. That just doesn't happen. But I think if we all said at the start of the season that after 10 games, we'd have 21 points and we'd be sitting second, we'd probably all be happy, wouldn't we?
What do you say, though, Tom, to the fans? You know, the Fishman's in the chat. He's already mentioned it. Not beating a top 6 side once yet. Carl Brooks says, look who Plymouth have beat. Peterborough, Bolton, Barnsley. For him, it's nothing to worry about. But I take that point as also say, okay, they've beaten sides at home that are expected to be in and around them. We haven't yet beaten a side in that bracket, if you like. So is not a must win. Is it a mustn't get beat? How do you respond back to what Rich has put forward there?
At the minute, it's not a mustn't anything. It's what happens, and we're still in the race regardless of what the result is. I would like to see us put down a marker because on those points you just raised, we're not cutting it against the bigger teams at the minute in terms of beating them and kind of sending out a message, which is one thing I would like us to do, which we've kind of failed at so far. I would like us not to just not get beat. I'd like us to send a message out and say we're here to go up, but we're not done it yet. We've got every chance to do it tomorrow. Portsmouth will be tough, but we've got a chance, and I'm not going to overreact if we do lose this game because it'll be 11 games. We'll have 21 points if we do lose. We beat Cambridge on Tuesday. We're still on for 2 points per game. So it's as long as we stick in that bracket of 2 points per game consistently, we're going to be near the top. That's how I see it.
Absolutely. I'm late. ITFC Legends Pack. Make your weekends flow from $14.99. And that's exactly how Mrs. L told us we're having a second child. No, I'm joking. I'm late. There you go. Way Day Beers. Great beer. The love of the game, the love of the beer. Combine them, fuse them together, and you have a stunning product. Rich is a monthly subscriber.
This man here, you named the Christmas beer last year, didn't you? You won, Tom.
He did.
Yeah.
I think he's got some great names already. I think I see Josh the other day was like looking for names. I think there was about 5 or 6 I've seen you tweeted. Very good.
Yeah, I'm going for it again. I want it again.
There you go.
He's incredible as our Tom. He does the names for the shows sometimes when they're really quite catchy. I'd message him and say, Tom, give us a good name for a show here. What have you got? His best one was a match made in Caden. Match made in Caden?
A match made in heaven.
That's it. That was a good one. I like that one. But awaydaybeers.com, you can get monthly subscriptions. You can get beers on their own. Beer Club is the monthly subscription. Fantastic beers from Golden Gold to Hoppy Robson, my personal favourite. Bundeslager, another great one of mine. Liquid Football, all of those. And tonight, Rich, you have got what on the go? I'll let you say it because I'm not great at pronunciations as it is.
I've got a Corona, but that will soon be gone. So I've got a Kun.
A Kun.
Kun.
Lovely.
Premier winning blonde.
There you go. What more could you want in life? David, thank you very much for £20 and Leighton for the £5. Thank you ever so much. Back to the conversation. Stephen Parry, but beat the bottom 15 home and away. You get 90 points going is all that matters, and how you beat them doesn't matter. Rob would take one defeat in the next 10 games like before. Mike D, Man of the Park wasn't used at Hillsborough. Injuries are hitting us now a bit. Tom obviously had me gone down with another injury. Greg Lee's gone down with an injury. The injuries are starting to bite. But this is where the squad depth comes in, isn't it?
I hope so. Yeah, we were told that we've got a squad comfortable of covering for each other, that there's enough depth in there for this league, and we'll find out if they were right or wrong on that. But yeah, it's a bit too many at the same time to be comfortable. But yeah, I think Greg Lee's going to be a bigger miss than we think, because they alternate, don't they, at left back? Like one of them will come off for the other one. But yeah, hopefully Leaf is fit enough now, he can sustain it, because we need that left side ticking, because we saw last season that was a big problem for us. But yeah, it's already miles better.
Chris Boyd hopefully had been out for long. Rich, are you a fan of Hadme? Have you enjoyed what you've seen so far?
Not really. I was really impressed with him when I see that. You know that I was. There's a bit of noise.
I know.
I was really impressed that night at Burton. But we've only seen flashes of him off the bench, and he just, from his 2 or 3 appearances, Martin, off the bench, I think you know who I'm going to say. He reminds me of Kiefer Moore when he was at Town, and he was absolutely dreadful. But listen, he's out now. I think Kieran said he'll probably be out for 8 weeks, so he's probably not going to be back until sort of December time. Look, it is a blow, Martin, because when you go to a new club, you want to make a mark, don't you? And he's now on the injured list, so hopefully he'll come back. And look, I'm a bit sort of, the jury's out on him. It's a bit of a project. I think they've taken a little bit of a punt on him, and I think in January we will revisit the striker talk anyway. Martin, I'd have thought, sort of throughout up to January, I'd have thought, and it depends where we are. We probably might dip in the market then. We'll just have to see how we go.
Kamara, is he back on the grass, Rich? Is that right?
He said he's back on the grass. I was talking to the fisherman, and Mike was saying about he wants to change up the midfield. Wait till Kamara's fit, because I think once he's fit, I think he'll be a nailed-on starter, mine. I really do.
For who?
Lee Evans. I think when he's fit, Kamara will be in the first team.
Yeah, Benjamin Michael, promotion season with one striker, where it's going to be interesting. Talking of that striker, Tom, Kieran McKenna did speak about Big Fred today. He said, of course, goals for a forward player are part of that, but it's not the only thing. And sometimes you're in a position and it doesn't get squared to you. Sometimes you hit a shot well and the keeper saves it. And sometimes you scuff it and it hits your other leg and lobs over the goalkeeper. For all our forward players, it's about contributing to the team on and off the ball. And of course, trying to get in goal scoring positions to create and score goals. He's no different from anyone else. So what are your thoughts on Big Fred, Tom? Because along with Caden, them two are going to be sort of spearheading the line. Do you believe, as some fans do, that you've got to get that 20-goal season striker, like Ben, for example, thinks, Ladapo has to be that man or we're going to be really in trouble? Or are you like other fans where actually it's more about, the goals are important, but it's about what they bring to the team in a tactical point of view, all the other stuff that you perhaps don't have a stat for?
Yeah, I'd at least be liking at least 15 for my strikers, to be honest. Like I think we've got a lot more support behind them at the minute, and which I think is good. But Big Fred, I thought he started a bit patchy at Plymouth, and he grew into the game, and then we missed him when he came off at the end. So I will give him his dues. I thought you talk about scuffing there, but he missed a few chances. He has done in previous games, but I'm just glad he's got a goal. I'm glad he's got some confidence in him, and hopefully he'll kick on, because he's scored goals in this division before. Like we've seen it at Rotherham. He's done it before. He's done it with Plymouth in the past. But I'm not convinced our number 9s are enough at the minute, like to give us the amount of goals that we want. But we'll have to wait and see. The injury to Ahadme won't help that. There's less pressure behind him to, he could get complacent. I hope he doesn't. I don't know the guy. But yeah, I'm a little bit unconvinced that we've got enough. But hopefully the system that we've got, this flexible formation, means we can do it against the little teams, and kind of come January, like Rich said, and there's been in the comments, we might need to strengthen there in January, I think.
You said you want 15 out of Big Fred. I want you to think fast, say fast, quick, and be fast. Can he get 15?
Yeah.
Too slow. Yes. Okay. Rich, can he get 15? Tom wants him to get 15.
When we had the preview show for the season preview, I think I said 17 Martin he'd get. Now, he's only got 1 in the league, 2 in the cup. The thing is, at the minute, at least he's getting in positions and missing.
Free header.
You know, if he wasn't getting in positions, I'd be a little bit more worried. So hopefully, now he's got that monkey off his back and he scored last week. Let's hope so. But I think it's just a case of waiting and seeing. I think he's not clinical enough for me, Martin, at the minute. He needs to be a lot more clinical.
My issue Sunday, Rich, was the free header. It's still
Oh, he's got to score. He's what, 8-10 yards out, centre of the goal. Got to score then. You know, it's a golden chance. No one within about 3 yards of him, and he's headed it straight to the goalie either side of him, Martin, and he scores. So
because he won't get a better chance than that, you would have thought. You know, 8 yards out, free header, great run on it. But 15, 17, they're big asks, Rich. And you can see why people are like, you know, Ben there, for example, promotion season on one striker is going to be a tough ask. You know, I don't know if he needs 20. I don't know if he needs 15, but certainly you need a bit more from him. Not just the stuff that you missed when he went off. That's all lovely, but you equally have to, score goals.
So what did Bond get?
13?
13.
Yeah.
I think he got 13. So if you said now that Ladapo get 13, I think a lot of people would probably be happy with that, mine. I think they would.
And I would have been at the start of the year. I'm really, will he get 13? Has he got that? Because at the moment, I feel he lacks a partner, which, to be fair, is what the Rotherham fans told us he would need.
He's not going to get it because that's not how we play. But if he got 13 goals like Bond did, Chaplin's on 6 already. Chaplin will get 15 plus easy. You know, Marcus Harness started. We'll probably come on to him. He started like a house on fire, man. He's been a little bit quiet the last few games, so hopefully he can get back on the goal trail. And then you've got Wes Burns has only got 1 at the minute. Hopefully he'll start popping a few in. Morsey's got 2. Evans has got a couple. So look, they're all going to have to chip in. I think we know that.
Has the spotlight, TJ, sort of shifted onto Ladapo a bit more, a bit brighter recently because of the trailing off of, you know, Chaplin and Harness, who both were scoring goals and creating chances and having a bit of a party sort of between games 1 to 7. But recently that hasn't been the case. Is that when the spotlight sort of becomes brighter on your striker, when the supporting cast isn't quite doing what they were doing before?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. The pair of them were firing on all cylinders, weren't they? And like you said, Sammy was chipping in with a couple of goals as well. Evans has scored a couple as well. So, yeah, it's been coming from elsewhere, and maybe we've not focused on the striker. And we've talked about the system more and how it's allowed everyone else to have their part. But now the system is having a rough patch at the minute, and it's down to perhaps a number 9 not pulling their weight as much as we want. So, yeah, I think that's where the focus is, and we're looking for that extra support, and we're not quite getting it as of yet. But also, we'll talk about Wes in a bit, I'm sure, but he's back. Apparently, he's raring to go. We need a lot more from him as well. So that's a missing link that has dried up since last season. But I think he'll come back into it. He'll be fine.
The system, is it the system, Rich? Or has it been the caliber of opposition that has stepped up and been better at stopping you from implementing the system?
Yeah, look, we played two better teams, and when we played Sheffield Wednesday, like we'll come on to probably Ball and Morsey, that they not Ball and Morsey, Evans and Morsey, they didn't get in the game as much, Martin, because we went a little bit more direct, I thought, at Hillsborough. And look, you're playing a decent team tomorrow. Look, Ladapo tomorrow is going to be up against Morrison and Raggett. You know, two good defenders at this level. You know, Michael Morrison, he's 34 now, Martin. He's played for quite a number of clubs. Raggett was obviously at Lincoln. He went to Norwich. They're decent centre half. So Big Fred's going to have to be on his game tomorrow, you know. But I listen, he's got 2 in 2. I know people will say he scored against Arsenal in the Papa John's Trophy to kids, but it's still a goal. That's still a goal. So he's got 2 in 2. He does do a lot of work, I think, that people don't see. But I still agree with you. It was funny today. It came up on my Facebook. It was a clip from, I think, 2 years ago when we were talking about Ollie Hawkins. Me, you, and Matt on the Sunday show, and you saying, I like my strikers to score goals.
I do.
You know, and that is, at the end of the day, he is a striker, and he will be judged at the end of the season on how many goals he's got. You can't have a striker who's there saying, yeah, but he's making space for all these others, and he scores 5 or 6 goals, Martin, because That just doesn't work for me. He has to contribute as well as his all-round play, but he still has to put the ball in the back of the net. That's what he's paid to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Jonathan Ross, 15. He looks nervous when he gets in position to score. Convinced he will be a key. Convinced will be key for Big Fred to get 15 goals this season. Harps, Ladapo could be so much better if he knew how to put his foot through the ball. Ball striking is not good enough. I'm not someone to tell a professional player how to
scored
strike
60 goals in the last 4 years for Rotherham. So Ben Adams there, he's writing him off in the chat. I think that's quite disrespectful, if I'm honest.
You've got to show it, though, haven't you, at a new club? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Every new player
You need a goal early, don't you? If you're a striker and you come in, you want to score in your first 2 games. Because like the longer it's going on, and look, we're talking about it now tonight. Let's hope now he's got that goal.
You know, and he won't mind me sharing this. The very first thing Neil said to me in the car on the way home after Bolton was, I don't rate Freddie Ladapo. He looks a bit sluggish to me, not quite the striker I think we should have. Like, you know, fans can be told they've got this player arrives with this medal, this accolade, this trophy, but ultimately it's a what have you done for me lately business. Football truly is, and what have you done for me lately is how a new player arrived. Look at Marcus Harness. He arrived slow debut, Tom. Then he caught fire, but there was that question mark at the start of his career. Like, what have we got here? Who is this player? Can he fit into the system?
Yeah, and I'll definitely say to like any fan, we have to get behind him because he's what we've got until January. So Jackson's going to be our away striker, you'd think, based on some of the games that we've had so far. Ladapo's going to be a home striker, depending on the opposition type of formation we've got. So we're going to need to rely on Big Fred. So we've got to get behind him. We've got to give him some support. And it's like Rich said, just wait and see. We're going to have to wait and see. Come January, then we're going to have to chuck some money at it. Otherwise, I think.
I agree. I've gone on record, as Rich will probably tell you. We've got a Waitrose left back and a Poundland front 2, 3. You know, we've gone out and got the 1.5 million vital ingredient at left back, and then we've skimmed.
Proof's in the pudding come May, isn't it? Really, where we end up. That's when we can.
This is it. You don't do podcasts once a year at the end of the season and say, "Well, this is the yearly review." You know, this is 2022, where every single action, moment, minute, detail is documented. Not just in football, in everything. TV shows, you know, if one TV show episode is not good, the whole series is ruined. This is 2022. This is the modern world. This is what you have to get behind. But I equally, Rich, and you could perhaps tell me, I expect us to beat Morecambe in a couple of weeks. I expected us to beat Forest Green. I expected us to beat Shrewsbury. This little clump of games is a test of if it was a playoff scenario, for example, how would we do? We've got a draw at Hillsborough. Okay, that keeps us in the second leg. Been defeated at home park, Plymouth. Tomorrow, again, is another chance to really test myself in a mini league against the teams I expect us to struggle with or have to contend with. How do you think about that?
It's all about laying down that marker tomorrow, isn't it? Because I think we know, if you look at this morning, Tom, you see Danny Cowley's he's playing the mind games. Town, everyone's expecting them to be in the top 2. Are we really falling for that? I'm not really. That's what I think someone like him would probably try and do. He's trying to get in our heads. But tomorrow, look, listen, sometimes, Martin, we spoke about it on here before, that we don't play well when we've got a big crowd. But you have to look at when we went to Sheffield Wednesday and Plymouth last week, how the crowd helped both of them teams. You know, at Hillsborough, it was a little bit, you know, they were throwing the coins and they got told off by the ref. But as soon as they got that goal to get back in the game, you could feel like the crowd sucking that ball in.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a surprise when they scored. And even like last Sunday, like when Plymouth scored, there was 15, 16,000, but they really got behind them. So tomorrow we've really got to use that energy, that 12th man, and we've all got to really get behind the team, because it can, like Kieran said today, Martin, the crowd can make a massive difference. It can do.
Yeah, we need. Oh no, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I'm just thinking back to these big occasions, these big games. Do we have that sort of cauldron atmosphere at any point, Rich?
Don't we? We are too nice.
But how do we adapt that? Yeah, because we'll come on to the discipline record towards the end of the show, because it's not the greatest, but on the field we've adapted to a bit more of a mean streak and aggressiveness. How do we as fans, I don't mean silliness like some things that happened at Hillsborough. I mean, making it a cauldron-like atmosphere where it's a really...
If you're near the side of the pitch and someone comes over like the opposition left-back to get the ball, give him a fucking earful. Don't pat him on the back and, there you go, throw the ball back to him. Give him a fucking gobful when he comes over.
Yeah, I was thinking more along the lines of responsibilities such as just keep with the team for 90 minutes. Stick with it. No matter how the game is flowing, how the score is looking, stick with it. Keep with it. Be that extra man. Be that teammate in the huddle. Being that teammate on the pitch. Because at times I think, Tom, we can drift in and out of games as fans. We can be almost turn up tomorrow and say, well, come on in. Show me. Before I shout, I want you to show me that you can do something. It's that sort of that wait and see atmosphere, I call it.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, it's a generation thing. I think it's the whole social media, everything's instant, everything you need now, that type of thing. It's kind of like filtered into football and fans and like newer generations, and you need everything now, or you want everything now, and you can't wait, and your patience wears a lot thinner than probably hardier fans who will give people the time and they will just let them do their thing. But yeah, I think it's not an Ipswich thing. It's across the board, and there are pockets of fans who are just irritable, to be honest. And I just think they just want too much too soon. I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say
he's irritable.
He's irritable.
Well, I don't know. I don't sit with him, thankfully. I don't know what he's like during the game.
Family enclosure. We're in the family enclosure. We have to behave ourselves.
I can't imagine that stops you, to be fair.
No, it wasn't last year. I always remember last year because we sit, Tom, just near the away dugout when Cowley had the ball incident with Dom Thompson, and Ollie, my 14-year-old, he's given Cowley a right volley, and I thought, blimey, it's at football, it's allowed. Don't tell his mum though.
How do you feel about paper tickets, Rich? As somebody who goes every week and sits where you sit.
Paper tickets. What's the problem with them?
No, I'm not. Did I say there's a problem? I asked you how you felt about them. Your opinion, because I know if I asked Matt Phillips, for example, I can imagine the answer. He's not going to be overly happy with people.
Well, you can get them now if obviously we've got our season ticket cards. I think now, like with your away tickets, like they come in the post. Surely it's easy now just to have an e-ticket on your phone, isn't it? Really, in this day and age.
Yeah, think of the trees.
Well, yeah, I agree, but I've never really thought about it, to be quite honest.
I say it because Trevor says many of them are part-timers. They don't even know where to sit, which is obviously made me think of paper tickets.
My dad always used to say that when the town were doing well, probably back in the Premier League, and he'd call them the old scarfs. The old scarfs had come out, and then you'd see them come wandering in, looking at their ticket and thinking, I've got no clue where to fucking go. And you think, oh, yeah.
Matt Stannard,
as the saying goes, where were you when we were shit?
Matt Stannard says, need paper tickets. They have infinite battery. Carl Brooks, which is a fair point. With a win tomorrow, there's a real chance of putting 3 or 4 wins together in a row. That's how we go bouncing back, buzzing for tomorrow. Stephen says, please give a shout out to Kerry Latimer, a new Blue. Yes, big up, Kerry. Welcome to the Blue family. And thank you very much, David, for the super chat. A few more comments, and I'll come on to the next point raised in the press conference. I'm not going to read the Fishman's comment there. It's a bit abusive, Mike.
It's like Nick Muller, though. Nick loves paper tickets. A lot of people collect tickets as well. So you go to all the away games, they like to have all the tickets. So
my godson's granddad, he has a big frame of paper tickets. Well, all the games he went to as somebody our age, he's got obviously Hazy Outmar and all that sort of jazz. Leighton Durrant, last week's defeat doesn't count because it was on Sky. I mean, I take that. I can take that if they accept that in the league table standings. I can certainly get behind that. Procrastinating Womble. I have a paper ticket. I'm a part-timer. Money and shifts dictate that. Womble, you are always welcome at Talking Town, my man. Part-time, full-time, no time. Welcome in. It doesn't matter to me. So what has Kieran McKenna learnt then, guys, from the last two? Because I build it as a big test. The 3 coming up, huge tests. How can we do? And for me, 1 point out of 6, capitulation. It's almost an F so far. I want tomorrow again to give him another chance, but that's me and my opinion. I'm an absolute nobody. I respect that. Rich ain't got to tell me it. What do you think McKenna has learned from the last 2 games? He said you need to learn from each situation and make sure that you've taken the right lessons and you're doing the right things in those situations. And the more you do, the more luck is going to fall your way. It's a low-scoring sport. Well, it is the way we play. And luck certainly has a part in it, and you can only do the right things and control the things you can control and hope the road, the green, and the things that you can't control fall your way. So each of you, what has he learned? Rich, what has he learned from the last 2 games? Because game management has been shocking.
I think I said that against, was it Sheffield Wednesday when we done the Friday about, well, it might have been last week, controlling the controllables. Kieran just said that there. Do your things on the pitch, and like stuff like referees and that, you can't legislate for that. What has he learned? I would hope. See, I've got a bit of a bugbear. The substitutions, Martin, that he said after last Sunday's game that the substitutions on 60 minutes when he brought on Vincent Young and he brought on John Jules, it was as if they were planned. 60 minutes, he goes off, he comes on. Now, I think that's all right in certain games when you're playing inferior opposition and you probably know, no disrespect for teams like Burton and Bristol Rovers, at 60, 65 minutes, you're probably going to have the game wrapped up. You're probably going to be 2 goals up. You can make them substitutions. Whereas last week, Martin, it was 1-0 and the substitutions that we made us worse. When he brought Vincent Young on and he brought John Jules on and he took Freddie Ladapo off and he put Caden Jackson in the centre, it made us worse. Now, it was as if it was, this is the time, these are the players going off, these are the players coming on. And I think sometimes you can't do that. You have to be flexible with what you're doing.
Is it possibly sports science led?
Possibly. You said that before, haven't you? Players get in the red zone, they've got the vest now, they know how far they run and all this, but I think you can't do that with certain games. Like tomorrow, will it be 60 minutes and you see John Jules coming on and Caden Jackson coming on? I don't like that, if I'm honest. I know they've got 5 subs, but I think sometimes, like with a Greg Lee coming on for Leif Davis, which we had before he got injured, Tom, I don't think that weakened us because Greg Lee was a great sub. He'd come on and he'd give you that energy. Whereas I think last Sunday, I didn't like the subs and how it was as if Freddie's played an hour. He has to come off now. Because we were worse when he went off. We were a worse team.
Do you think he felt the flow of the game last week, McKenna, with his subs? Or do you feel he acted just methodically and preempted it almost?
Possibly not, because I think a lot of people watching that game last Sunday, Martin, would have said the obvious sub at that stage of the game was Dominic Ball to come on. He had 2 centre midfielders there who were both on yellow cards and couldn't make another tackle.
Don Ball. Over to you then, Tom. Over to you. Take it away.
I knew he'd bring it up, so I thought I'd write it down just so I could get my point across as well. But yeah, Don Ball, he's there. He can play football, and I think we should bring him on more. And that's been one of our biggest downfalls. And I also get the rigid nature of the substitutions. They seem to be quite consistent. There's a pattern to them. And I think my thoughts on it is players, if we've got the sports science behind us, they're durable enough to last a bit longer than they are lasting. So wait and see how we do. Probably with Plymouth, we were a bit too gung-ho with our subs. Probably could have played it out a bit more. These players should be able to last 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes at least. So that's my biggest gripe, really. Play Don Ball, and I don't know. I'm not going to tell McKenna to read the game better because look at me.
But do you feel he didn't read the... Sorry, go on. Sorry.
Don't you think it's strange, Tom, that we played 2 away games at Sheffield Wednesday and Plymouth, and Don Ball hasn't played a minute?
Yeah, I find it strange because I've not watched a lot of Don Ball, but I've only heard good things about him in other games for QPR, and he seems to be an option that we need, particularly with Plymouth when we had 2 in the centre on yellow cards. And it's been mentioned before that we lost a bit of bite because they were holding back a little bit as not to get sent off. And that would have been perfect to add a bit of an enforcer in there. So, yeah, that was my biggest point, really, is kind of strengthen the midfield a bit more in both games and probably, I don't know, whether to stop this pattern of very rigid substitutions that seem to be happening. But again, I'm not a tactician. McKenna, I trust McKenna, and hopefully this all works out. But I just want to see more of a bit of steel in midfield is probably my biggest gripe.
Yeah, and I don't think many people would disagree with you. And I think, Rich, you're right there when you say 2 away games. I thought when we brought Dominic Ball in at the start of the year, this is what he brought in for. Those type of situations, or an away day at Hillsborough, we want to be a bit more combative in the midfield, a bit more bite. And yeah, it was just interesting Sunday because there seemed to be at one point just almost like being in Crown Pools. There was wave after wave after wave after wave after wave. And we did nothing to sort of try and stem it.
Even after the equaliser, you could have brought him on there and said, right, just go and sit in there. We'll take a draw. We'll take a point and we'll be happy with that. But listen, who are we to question McKenna? You know,
we are just mere fans, my friend. We are mere podcasters. We are mere contributors. We are mere voices among a crowd of many. But we offer our opinions all the same. Some are correct, some are not. But, you know, we take it. We move on. When we win tomorrow 3-0. You look back on shows like this in a year's time when we're champions, you know, and we think it's about nothing, really, wasn't it? And that's life. Harry Hindsight is still the world's best football pundit. Leighton Durham, Ball was excellent against the Arsenal kids. He was, to be fair. It was Arsenal kids, though, wasn't it?
You think he plays tomorrow, Martin?
No, I said this on Wednesday's show. Personally, this is why I'm sat in the chair, not McKenna, because do you stick with Evans because the first 8 have been great, or do you say the first 8 were great, we've now played a better caliber of team, we haven't performed, I'm going to make a change? Like, there's trust, and then there's going on too long with the trust, right? Where are you two with it?
You look at the 2 midfield, they play 4-4-2 Portsmouth, so you got Marlon Pack, good player, and Tom Lowry, who, do you remember him from Crewe last year? Scored that great equaliser.
Yes,
good
I do.
Players, but I'm going to be loyal, and I would stick with.
That's the word, loyal. That's what I was looking for.
Morsey and Evans. I would stick with them. I think you're playing Saturday, Tuesday this week. I think Ball comes in and plays on Tuesday. I think he'll change it up. That's when the changes will be made. Tomorrow, I'm playing. Look, Don Ball's he's a really good footballer. Once he gets in the team, Martin, he might stay in it. But at the minute, I'm not picking him. I'll pick my best 11 tomorrow. And Don Ball, unfortunately, he's not starting, but still has a part to play, like you say, Tom, somewhere in that second half to come on.
You'd like to think so, 5 subs. Wes Burns went with Wales, Tom, and I was really sort of peeved Monday night when, you know, he hadn't played a single minute for Wales. We'd lost the game. Could he have swung it in our favour? You will never know. Caden Jackson certainly had a lot of luck against their left wing back, but he's back. He's refreshed. He's got some Gareth Bale magic on him, I'm sure. How are you feeling about Wes Burns tomorrow? Because will the break have done him a lot of good in terms of that groin he was perhaps carrying a couple of weeks ago, etc.?
I hope so. And like you said, just being around a different caliber of player. Not all of them, I'd say, were better players, but a few of them are in that Wales squad.
You mean Johnny Williams is not a better player than Connor Chaplin?
Let's move on.
Connor Chaplin's not worse.
Nah, he's not. I mean, peak Johnny Williams when he's fit was excellent, wasn't he? But we just didn't see enough of it.
No, he was always injured. Bless him.
He was so good.
Which spell? First, second, or third?
Fuck.
Doesn't matter. Each one ended in the medical tent, didn't it? Let's be honest. But bless him, poor boy. He signed my shirt once, though. Still got that somewhere.
Nice guy. What were we on about?
Wes Burns back refreshed, invigorated.
Yeah, I'm hoping the break's done him some good. He's had a little bit of break away from his club, and hopefully he's come back and he's gone, right, I've not played. I'm chomping at the bit to play some football now and probably show this Wales team that he wants to be in the World Cup. That's his motivation now. Hopefully it's to get us up in this league, but he's got a World Cup around the corner, so he's going to be playing out of his arse, you'd have thought, to get into that. Even if he's just in the squad, the experience of going to a World Cup is something nobody really gets to do. So there you go.
Here's a question for you, big man. This time last year, if it had been Ipswich Town versus Plymouth without Wes Burns, we'd have missed him, hands down, no question. Do you think we missed him on Sunday?
I thought Caden had a really good game, but I thought the thing was we didn't give him enough of the ball. What's the Mumba, the lad who scored the goal on from Norwich.
Farley Mumba, yeah.
Great going forward, he was, Martin. He didn't like defending, though, did he?
He hated it.
So why didn't we give Caden the ball more? Get him on the ball. This is what
but that's not what I asked. You're avoiding.
Did we miss what was the question again?
This time last year, we'd have missed him. I'll ask you both the same question. We'd have missed Wes Burns, hands down, no questions. Do you think, looking back, we missed Wes Burns on Sunday?
Yes.
Tom says yes.
I think we missed him. I thought Caden had a very good game, but you're always going to miss players of the calibre of Wes Burns. He's still not performed as he did last season, but he's still one of the first names on the team sheet, Martin. Fit,
absolutely.
You know, he's nailed on, and if he goes to the World Cup and he doesn't play, I think we'll all be frustrated. But like you say, Tom, if you're a kid growing up, you want to go to a World Cup and represent your country, even if you come on for a minute.
Yeah,
you know. So, I hope. Look, do I hope he gets picked for Wales? I'm being a bit selfish. No, I don't. But if Wes gets selected, I think we should all be really proud as fans that he'll be representing Ipswich Town at a World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And as Ian Davis says, nice to see it in the chat. Having international players is a symbol of our progress. Fans shouldn't complain and need to get real. Whether Burns played 90 minutes or 0 minutes. Good point, Ian. Thank you ever so much. Callie, Burns ain't done anything this year. We didn't miss him, Sat, and won't miss him in November. Let him enjoy the World Cup. Definitely not seeing best of Burns this season. Don't think his place is guaranteed at the moment. Stephen, well, he went to 2 games, never got a minute. I don't think he'll be selected for Resonating Womble. Other teams expect last season's Burns, and so act accordingly. So he helps others by just being on the pitch. Matt Buh, yes, we now offer a threat down both sides. Him being on the pitch creates space down the left. And Ian says, Wales squad in the World Cup or Barnsley away. Barnsley. Good old Barnsley. I'll go Barnsley away, Rich, me, personally. We can keep your World Cups.
I don't mind Oakwell.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
It's
I've
not
been
bad.
about 3 times.
I met Dickie Bird there. I met Dickie Bird there. Do you know who Dickie Bird is, mate?
Don't know who Dickie Bird is, mate. No.
Cricket.
Yeah, well done. He's an umpire.
There you go.
Is he?
Yeah. Yes. You're learning.
I'm learning.
This time next week, guys. Cricket show, by the way. We've not had a show for a while.
Not this time next week, is it?
We'll be on at 7.
I'm going to say you've missed it by a good couple of hours if you're tuning in now. Right, we're going to come to keys to victory. I'm asking both the guys their keys to victory, but before we do that, songs for the ITFC Jukebox. If you went with us Wednesday, I've changed it up a little bit. Instead of putting any old song in the Jukebox, I'm taking both the contributors' songs, putting them in a poll, and seeing which one you want in the Jukebox, courtesy of the poll. But I'm also going to add one from our chat this evening. So it's a 3-way. It's a triple threat. It's not quite a tag team as Teddy Long would like to make on SmackDown with The Undertaker. But
he was blocking everyone. Did you see that on Twitter the other day? He was literally blocking everyone, Teddy Long.
Didn't he get hacked or something? I don't know.
I don't know. I just see that he was literally blocking everybody.
It's a strange situation, that is.
Player, holla, holla.
You're going to go in the tag team with the Undertaker player. Right, anyway. So joining you will be Heroes and Villains by the Beach Boys, courtesy of Gino. Thank you very much, Gino. That will be song 3 in the poll. So make it good, boys. Make the song selection good. Make the reason good. Make the people at home really feel why they should select your song. Before they do that, you can join the Talking Town family, become a 5th standard today, get access to our Discord, and join the community. Hit the join button on YouTube or head to our Ko-Fi site, $4.99 a month or more. Become a part of the community. See Tom's wonderful cheese boards on a weekend. See how Middle England live. See his Chinese on a weekend. And then I will rate the whole lot and tell you how chips need to be with it all, even cheese boards.
Would you have chips with a Chinese?
I'd have chips of anything, mate.
Yeah, we didn't have no chips. We had 7 dishes. There was no room for chips.
Chips from a Chinese restaurant, actually.
I like Chinese chips.
They're special.
I like Chinese.
Like chips from an Indian as well. They must be cooked in something that's just not quite from the fish and chip shop. But, you know.
Dog fat.
I ain't bothering what it's cooked in, mate. It just tastes all right. Right, Tom, your song and why. What you got for me this week?
Right, we're going with the Foo Fighters' Best of You.
Oh, good song.
So, Best of You. We want the best of this team after a little bit of a setback. And we've had a call from manager and Lee Evans in their media rounds about the fans. And we want the best of us as well as fans. So, team effort, Best of You. And we'll go and smash Pompey tomorrow.
Oh, I like it. Okay, that's song number 1. Rich, sorry.
See, I agree with that. Talking about the fans. So obviously 28 plus tomorrow. 17 tickets left. Andy Warren tweeted earlier.
Ooh.
17 tickets. So it's going to be a bumper crowd. So what do we need to do, Martin? We need to bring the noise. So we're going back to 1973. Slade, Colin sings Slade. Come on, feel the noise, because that's what we need to bring tomorrow. The noise. Everybody, all stands, bring the noise. Come on, feel the noise from Slade. I sent you the video. Wow.
It is a great song. Do you know why he's called Noddy? Do you know why he's called Noddy?
Noddy Holder. Why is he called Noddy?
Can you, Tom, any guesses why you think he's called Noddy?
No.
It's not his real name, Noddy. That's not his actual real name.
Is it to do with the cartoon? That's the only thing I could think of.
Because he kept nodding off in class as a kid.
Ah.
Where did you see that?
I heard it on, I think it was a Steve Wright. Big Facts one day this week.
Oh, what a sad day today. You're probably happy that he's gone.
I'm not happy anybody's gone. I mean, I know how hard it is to broadcast live to a couple of 100,000.
Who is replacing him is what I want to know.
It's
Scott Mills.
That's it. Scott Mills, yeah.
Not for me.
But not Chris Stark. I don't mind Scott Mills and Chris Stark as a partnership, but because their 5 Live show, if you ever caught that on a Saturday morning, was absolutely top notch. It was a really good show.
Where is he going, Steve Wright? Where's he turning up? He's obviously going somewhere.
I heard something about Boom FM. I heard, but we've got a little bit of rumbling on your end, Tom. Yeah, Boom FM. I think I heard. I don't know though. But yes, Ian bumped into Noddy Holder in the Birmingham branch of IKEA.
Wow. There you go.
I've never been to IKEA ever.
What?
And I don't want to go to IKEA.
I've heard meatballs.
I've heard it's literally like a one-way system. You go in and you have to go through the whole store, but you can get out again. Not for me. Not for me. Right. Keys to victory as we round up today's show. These are the keys that these two believe have to be accomplished to get the victory. It's as simple as that. Rich, I'll let you go first as Tom kicks us off with the jukebox. What are your keys to victory tomorrow, man?
My first one is bring the noise, because that was why I went for that song as well with the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have to be that 12th man tomorrow, Martin. You know, don't go there and sit on your hands. Whatever stand you're in tomorrow, bring your voices. You know, because you might need to pull them players through. It might be 0-0 after 75 minutes. You know, and if we can just push them over the line, and we might nick a late winner. Imagine that, Martin, tomorrow, 91st minute, and we score. You know, and Cowley's sitting there with his head in his hands, and his brother, fucking Nicky, with his fucking stupid iPad. So yeah, they're both a couple of pricks. Part number 2 is bash the bishop. It's what we got to do tomorrow, Tom. Bash the bishop, not literally, but
no, not tomorrow.
Olby Bishop. He was on my shopping list in the summer. Good player. Accrington and Stanley. He's got 5 goals, Martin, this season. He's a key to how they play. You know, he's big, he's physical. Mm-hmm. But we've got to stop the ball, stop the crosses. 4-4-2. They've got Owen Dale and Karoma on the left. They could have Ronan Curtis. He's on the bench. But stop that supply line. And when it comes to Colby Bishop, fucking smash him. And the little twat who's playing with him, Dane Scarlett. Put him in close head early.
Score a 93rd minute winner, and I'll be bashing the bishop.
There you go.
Innuendo bingo, isn't it the best? Danny Cowley's playing a 4-4-2. It's almost on vogue, that, isn't it? So that's almost, you know, they know their brand. To be fair to them, do you know what? I haven't seen a good 93rd minute winner, Tom, since probably Michael Chopra and Andy Jury at Coventry away.
Oh, 3-2 in the snow.
Yes, mate. That was one of the best.
I remember 98-14. I've got some great pictures. I'll have to find them. We went round after the game to see the players, and Ollie was only, what year was that, Martin? 2008. Yes, we beat West Ham, didn't we, on the Tuesday 5-1?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We played them, and Ollie's got some pictures with Jet, Aaron Cresswell, Jimmy Bullard, and it's literally his face is rosy red cheeks because it is fucking snowing like
it was.
Hell.
Yeah, it was awful weather, but that was great.
Yeah, the black kit, didn't we?
From a corner, right in front of the away section.
That was it. 3-2 at the Rico.
I said to the boys, go on, Tom.
I was going to say, best last one I've seen live is Carlos Edwards away at Derby. You know, like absolutely twatted it in the top corner. Me and my dad were standing behind it, and we was like, it's fine to stay up as well, weren't we, that season under Mick? And it was one of the worst games I've ever watched, and we didn't deserve a thing out of that, but we just absolutely stole it off them. That was like, best kiss.
He's still going. He's still playing, Tom. Scored for Bury Town a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, he's in the Suffolk League, isn't he? Yeah.
Still going.
Yeah, he is. I remember I was doing the Soccer Saturday drinking challenge that day, and I had Ian Dowie. Fuck me, the bloke don't shut up when he's doing his reports. I was legless, but I remember seeing that goal, and that was a great moment. Great moment in the living room.
Some of Ian Dowie's favourite phrase tomorrow night.
Bounce back ability.
That's what we need.
That's probably the best era of the Premier League, you know, with Crystal Palace, Tony Popovic, Speroni in goal. That was some peak.
Julian Speroni.
Yeah. That own goal to start their campaign with the little back flick own goal from Tony Popovic. And those are great times. Great times. Anyway, your keys to victory, Tom, for tomorrow. What are they, my man?
So defensive shape. So we'll start with that. So we've got Bishop and Scarlett, who we've already talked about. An assist each and plenty of goals each for 9 games so far. So our back three have really got to be on it tomorrow, which I think goes without saying. But one I wanted to shout out was their right back, Ogilvie. He scored 3 times this season. And Leif Davis has got to be on it tomorrow, which means Wes Burns coming into this team, he's got to pull his weight because our left side's going to be a bit restricted, I think. I think Leif has got to have a bit more disciplined game based on that. So we need a lot more from our right side as well. So, yeah, defensive shape, we need to be on it. We need to stop the goals from all areas, it seems. And the second one is discipline, because Pompey are just a bunch of shithouses, essentially.
Yeah.
But we have got the 3rd worst discipline this season so far. We've had 24 yellow cards. And if Pompey do what they do and they rattle us a bit, we could get some sending offs, we could get some stupid bookings, and it could go against us. So discipline is my biggest one for tomorrow. We've really got to counteract the Cowley's tactics.
Good point, because obviously Sunday, Tom, discipline, you know, some of the tackles were necessary, but in the end, the 2 bookings restricted our midfield, didn't it? So keep your head and keep your discipline. Good point. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. And obviously, you mentioned the right side there. They've got a fella called Jacobs. The name might ring a bell, not because of the crackers, but because he was almost in the building. But he's playing really well at the moment for him.
Yeah, I remember you talked about him on the other day. Yeah, we almost signed him. He drove through Playford Road gates, and we went, "Nah, mate, we'll have Edwards instead. Cheers." And then that was it. And yeah, as it's been documented by Danny Cowley, could have been handled better. Probably could have been, but that's business, isn't it? So we move on.
It is business, but Rich, tomorrow, if he's got any chip, it's going to be a big old McCain on the shoulder, innit?
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't start the last game, but I was looking at SofaScore, and he's one of their highest rated players this season, Mike.
And he's expected to be back, I believe. Yeah, I don't know for sure, but I expect him to be back.
It is football, isn't it? He could have signed. He could have been playing for Town tomorrow, but we've obviously got the Portsmouth links with Chaplin. We've got Marcus Harness. So it's an interesting one tomorrow. Harness, does he start? Does he not? Does he play Jackson out there? If I was Kieran tomorrow, I'd be playing Harness, because I reckon he'll get a bit of stick from the Portsmouth fans, Martin.
Yeah.
But I think if he starts, I think he can score, because he's got that in his locker, isn't he, Harness? He might not do a lot in some of these games, but he can always nick that goal. And I think tomorrow, I do agree with Tom there, the discipline, because realistically, we could have quite easily ended that game on Sunday with 9 players. You know, Morsey, it's a definite red. And even Lee Evans was lucky there, Martin. He was reckless a couple of times. So keep 11 men on the field, score the first goal. You know, I think that's key tomorrow. If we could get ahead with the crowd behind us, get an early goal, and it could push us on to victory. But it's going to be a tough game. But I think if we keep our discipline, Tom, I think we're a better football team than Portsmouth are.
Yeah, and there's a few points as well I wanted to raise as well. That stuff that we're doing well and is really positive is we're conceding the fewest shots per game in the league so far, but we're also having the most shots and the most shots on target in the league per game. So we're doing the right things. We just need to do the scoring a little bit better. We're not doing too badly at it so far, but we can do better at it. So there are really positive signs there. If we keep that up, we'll be all right. But we just need Fred and Jacko, Tyrese.
Being ruthless, Tom. It's about being ruthless, I think.
Yeah, like we're making the right moves and putting ourselves clearly in the right positions. But as we've said, chances go missing straight at the keeper. It's not in the right places. So like it's fine tuning, but we're doing the right things which we weren't doing before. So it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't say.
I do agree with Ian there. I do agree with Ian saying about it's good to see him getting stuck in. There's
a line, isn't there?
But you've got it's that fine line, isn't it?
It's that fine line between aggressive, overly aggressive, and playing within the boundaries and pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, we all know. Look, we all know what League One refs are like in this league. They're poor. You don't have to do a lot today in football, Martin, to get a yellow card. You don't have to.
No.
And Morsey's got that reputation now that these refs know, don't they? And
I always think referees.
Whereas some might get away with it, you're not the tackle on Sunday, but some tackles he might make, the ref might think, right, I'm stepping on him early and I'll give him a yellow. What I will say with Sam Morsey is he does know, Martin, how to manage his game after he's had a yellow card.
Yeah, it just blunts him, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I agree with that. But he's going to get suspension because he's got 4 bookings anyway. So 1 more booking and he misses. It won't be the Cambridge game. I think there was Kevin Keats in the chat said if he gets booked tomorrow, I think it's the Saturday. It'll be the Saturday after. I think it's always a week after. So if he gets booked tomorrow and he has to miss Morecambe, so be it.
It's worse the games he could miss. No disrespect to Morecambe. Craig says, I want to win tomorrow twice as hard because obviously Craig is from Portsmouth. He comes up every home game. He says, let's win town. Don't want my neighbours giving me stick. Woody Wood is not convinced with Harness. Not even sure ex-club association will be enough to motivate him. Hope I'm wrong. Must not lose this game. I like Harness, Woody. I have to be honest. Nick's loving the positive vibes. Stephen Price. So with the Plymouth player late and didn't get a red, so it was equaled out. Rob Holmes, just play our game tomorrow. Don't get caught up with their shithousery tactics, time wasting. Mike D. Pompey will put 2 banks behind the ball and look to break on us. Fridge needs a solid game, and we need our 10s to find the pocket.
This is where, like Rob says there about don't get caught up with their tactics. This is where a game tomorrow, Tom, if you can score an early goal, it'll change how they're going to play. Because the longer the game's 0-0, we see it last season, Martin, when I think it was on 70 minutes, the pre-plan where the goalkeeper goes down injured. That they've done it in, I think, 3 previous games. So if it's 0-0, don't be surprised to see stuff like that happen. You've just keep our heads tomorrow. Just keep our heads. And we're a better football team than them. Let our football do the talking and win us that game. Don't get involved in any of the nonsense. We don't need to do it because that's what they'll be trying. He'll be saying that to him, you know.
Yeah, I want the first half goal. First half goal tomorrow. I think it'll make a difference. And what we didn't do as well against Plymouth is pass around the way we can. They restricted that, but if we can get a lead and kind of control it a bit better than we did, I think we'll be all right. Because I think they'll turn into this. They can't do all the shithouse tactics that they do if they're behind. And they're going to go for it. And I think, like I said, we don't concede as much and we can score a bit more. So, yeah, we've got to score early. That's what I think.
Here's a last-minute question for you as we come in. Callie says it might not be Fridge starting tomorrow. He's just got a feeling. I got a feeling. Woo, what a tune that is. But Keogh versus Fridge. Fridge versus Keogh. Who would you have? Last question before we leave. TJ, who would you have? Keogh or Fridge tomorrow?
Against that front two, I'd probably say Fridge, but I would see the reason to Keogh. But it means you push Wolfie on the left side of a 3, which we've not seen it yet, have we? I can't remember seeing him on the left side of a 3, so I don't know how that will go. I'll go with Edmondson if I had to pick between the 2.
Okay. Rich?
I'd stick with Fridge because I think it's a little bit... If he takes him out tomorrow, Martin, it's a little bit like hanging him out to dry, I think. He made a mistake last week, but he played well at Sheffield Wednesday the week before. So what would you do?
I stick with Fridge. I can't be chastising, criticising, disciplining, dropping, whatever bloody phrase you want to put in, a player playing out from the back when that's what I think the philosophy is at Ipswich Town Football Club. He was not the first player. In fact, he probably was the first player, but he will not be the last player to get caught playing out from the back because That's what playing out the back is. It's about bringing the press on, springing yourself from the press. But sometimes the other paid professionals are paid professionals, and they do occasionally intercept it and manage to get something from joy of it. That's football. That's the con to the play out from the back, I guess. So if I was to say, Fridge made a mistake, playing out from the back, got to be dropped, then I would probably have to say I want my ball lumped into the corner and playing the percentage.
Where did Callie say about Fridge has made 2 mistakes in 2 games? Where did he make the mistake at Sheffield Wednesday then?
It's a good question. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But I'm just seeing it as a. If he'd made glaring errors, then you could possibly say. But Lewis says Emerson made 1 poor pass in 2 games, and people are crucifying him. That's what I mean. It's almost. Are you a Mick McCarthy? Put it in the corner, play the percentages, or are you a play out from the back?
Well, Dean Saunders was on. He was talking about that on Talk Sport this week, man, about defenders nowadays. Sometimes they do need to play the percentages, but they don't do it, do they? But I think, like Carl says there, I'm not a fan of chopping and changing your back 4 or back 3 or whatever it is. You do need that little bit of continuity, don't you? You
do, and I think the same thing further up the field, Tom. When we talk about John Jules, Jackson, Ladapo, Harnish, I really am a big believer that you have to get partnerships in football, and you don't get partnerships in football unless you actually play together on a consistent and constant basis. And again, tomorrow, I'd like to see Harnish, Chaplin, and Ladapo for that very reason. I want to see those people start to form those partnerships where they know the run, they know Ladapo's going to come in like that first goal. It wasn't textbook, but the more they know Ladapo has that in his locker to make that run, be aware, be alert, the more you might start to see it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a big advocate for partnerships. So, yeah, I'd like to see it. But if it does come down to consistent poor form, then, yeah, there's a reason to do it. But I don't think there's been enough of a consistent run of poor form for some players to get dropped like Edmondson. I don't think there's quite been enough just yet, in my opinion.
Perfect. We are back live tomorrow. 1:55 from the feet of Sir Alf Ramsey. Whether you're at the game or not, do join us. If you are at the game, come by, say hi. You haven't got to be on the camera. Don't worry. Many people are there.
It's going to be busy.
I know it is. Many people are there and not on the camera. So do stop by and say hi. But until then, I'll ask Rich, are you at the statue tomorrow?
I'm working in the morning, so hopefully, if I'm not there pre-match, I'll definitely be there post-match.
Okay,
I definitely will hopefully be there.
Okay, well, just in case you're not, I'll ask you both. Score predictions for tomorrow then. Rich?
3-1 Town.
Oh, 3, I like it. Tom?
1-0 Town.
Both positive. Neil says 1-0, 2-1 from Dino. 2-0 from Colin. He wants you to bring your singing voices. Don't forget, join us tomorrow, pre-game, and then, of course, post-game as well. But until then, here's the big fish, Tom James. That is the cruncher, Richard Moss. Hit join the Discord community, and we'll see you all tomorrow at 1:55. Up the town.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I get down or when I get blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. I woke up all soaked in sweat, weird chills running down my neck. I thought went crazy from just the thought of you. A long blonde hair.